Everybody, welcome back to Everyday Journey. Today we're going to do the roosters. I've got 4 roosters. I'm going to show you guys just real quick how I do one of them. And the biggest thing is so you can see how long it really takes to do the feathers. That's probably the most time consuming part. Just how to do it yourself and without actually using a chicken plucker. So if you can see over here, I've got my kill cone. I'm not sure if you can see that in here. Let's turn it a little bit. There we go. So I got my kill cone there, and I think, yeah, we'll leave it like that for the moment. I'm not going to zoom in on that, and I'm going to have myself in front of it whenever I do it, but you'll be able to see whenever I put it down in there. Here's actually where I hang them up after I'm done boiling them to get the feathers off. I hang them up here so I can pluck the feathers. You can see feathers here on the ground, or maybe you can't, but they are here. And then here is the poor man or cheap man's version of how to do the rest. So I got just a plastic table, got it sitting here, got a a Rubbermaid tote full of cold water, and then here I've got my cooler that's full of ice cold water. I've got a cutting board here, knife, and a pair of scissors. I actually got these scissors from Harbor Freight. They work pretty good for this. Whenever you need to clip through something that's pretty heavy duty. I got my hose over here, which you can't really see, but it's hanging there from my that chair, and I just use that throughout the process to spray everything down. And then I got my water over here that's boiling. Just built a fire here, had it sitting here going. It's just below 150 degrees, and so it's probably a little further than I want, so I'm going to put the lid back on it. But yeah, it's ready to go. Should be fine, but it'll be even better. So it heats back up a little bit. After I get done dunking the bird in there, I'll definitely put more in it, or more fire. Get the fire going a little bit better, because it'll cool down both from the bird and because some of the water evaporates out and just whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here, because I'd like to show you this process real quick. For anybody that actually doesn't want to see something like this, remember, this is an instructional video on how to process a chicken real quick and show you the process of plucking the feathers and all of it. So I'm not going to show you the kill portion of it, not up close, but if you don't want to watch this stuff, please go ahead and turn the video off right now and go watch something else. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Take the rooster and go ahead and put him down in here, get his head through. And for those who don't know, this is normal. The last few moments they will kick around a little bit. So it shouldn't be but just a few minutes total. If it takes longer than that, then you need to try it again. All right, you can see right here, there's no movement. No response. So this is ready to go ahead and take him out. And we'll go ahead and dunk him in the water. Again, this water is just under 150 degrees, and we should be able to just dunk him in there and turn him around. Make sure he's completely submerged. I normally have my tongs over here. I think I gotta go find those, so we'll use this instead. But this right here, we'll just do it for about 50 seconds, 45 to 50 seconds. And so now it's been about that time. We'll go ahead and get him out of here, check and see if everything's coming off like it should. and you can feel it. You can see right there, it comes off fairly easily. So we're done. We don't want to go any more because that'll just overcook him. Sorry about the wind. Makes it a little cooler though. So here, I just have these loops on here. This is 550 cord, paracord. I just have it permanently looped here so that I can just hang it up. And from here, I normally keep both, just one on there because I still have to get in between. So I just do the legs first and just start pulling. And it takes a while, and some of them are worse than others. These aren't too bad. And the good thing I like about this is a black Australorb, and the reason why I like these is the feathers are easy to see, so you can see them. To make sure you got them all out, it's a lot easier. The other thing I like about them too is that their feathers aren't so thick that, because some of them are so thick that even after you dunk them, you basically either have to dunk them for a really long time so that the water can actually get through, or and then that cooks the bird, or you end up pulling it out too early, and it doesn't cook it completely, but then you pull it out too early, and the feathers are really hard to pull off. So I've got some black and white ones over there. Forgot the names, but they are definitely that way. So it just makes it a nightmare. These are coming out fairly easily. They do stick to your fingers and stuff though. But we'll just go through here and get everything in the leg area, and then I can go ahead and hang this thing back up by the other foot, because I've got two loops here. And you could try your best to keep the feathers all in something like I've done before here, but it is almost impossible. And now I'm just going to hang the other foot and then move on to the wings. The wings are the worst part sometimes because these feathers don't like to come out. The end feathers, they don't like to come out, so I pull all these individually instead of pulling several of them at a time. I just kind of go through and pull them. And once I get the end feathers, then the rest of them I can kind of grab and pull. They're not that bad. Those end ones are tough to come out sometimes. I guess that's their flight feathers. Now the other difficult thing, this is the first year that I've messed with, actually raised my own roosters or raised my own chickens, and I didn't ever know that they had so much actual like hairs on them. So it's not only feathers that you're pulling out, but you also got a bunch of hairs everywhere. You don't have to get them. You can kind of get them later whenever you're cleaning it up. You know, whenever you're cutting it up into pieces and stuff. But I like to try to get as much of it as I can out here, so it's just not so much hassle later. Now some people actually keep the tail on the bird. I don't. It's just easier for me to just cut it off later. So so you don't have to get all the feathers off of the tail if you didn't want to, if you're going to remove the tail. Got a rooster kind of right behind the camera there. He's in a cage, and I actually block up the view so that he can't see what I'm doing throughout these processes, and it probably doesn't matter, but I just try to keep them as calm as possible. And I'm pretty sure that if I was a rooster and I saw that, I don't think I'd be calm anymore. Now, as the feathers and stuff start sticking here, you can, well, that's why I got the water hose here. Go ahead and give it a spray. Get the feathers off my hands and stuff too. And I get the majority of them off. The loose ones anyway. Show you which ones you still got to get. Since I am doing this outdoors, you know, all these feathers while I'm over there processing it real quick or taking the innards out, I can continue to pull feathers then. So this is not the biggest thing. I don't have to take them all off of here at this point in time. If you're indoors, it'd be a different story, because then you're going to have feathers all in your sink and in your garbage and just all over the place. And so here it's not as important. So as you can see, I'm pretty much done here. It's just pulling off the little bits here and there. For anybody that's doing this small scale, this works. This is feasible. Like I said, I got 4 of them to do today. So I could do this. It takes me roughly 30 minutes. And the feathers are the majority of it. I'm going to say that right there is done. Besides a few feathers here and there. But you can see how long that took. That's a while. So if you were doing this much larger scale, especially if you were selling them, chicken plucker of any type will be better than this. So we'll go ahead and go over to the table. Go ahead and do the rest. I'm going to go add some wood real quick to this, or else my water is going to get cold. Alright, so the very first thing I do, you can either use the knife or the scissors, but this knife, you just feel and here in the legs. Go ahead and cut, and while you're bending the leg backwards at the same time, just cut in between these 2 bumps on right at their knee, and you can feel when their toes let loose that you're going through the tendon. And I do not have my bucket over here. I guess we use this one over here. This is the one I was catching the blood in. But my other bucket's up there. You always forget these things until it's time. Once you go through the first one and you got everything, all your ducks in a row again, then you're good to go. But it takes a minute to get everything ready, and then you always forget something. So and this is why the scissors are good, because you can just cut through everything pretty easily. This little extra skin that comes off of the foot, this gray skin, you can take it off. Extra feathers as you go. And all these hairs, you just get those as you go too, because they're everywhere. And you'll keep seeing them more and more the more you do this. Alright. Next thing I do is just go up to good ways up the neck. Go ahead and remove the head. Once you're through the bone, then you can just use the knife. but try your best not to cut the bones with the knife. Just dulls it real quick. So here, we're just reaching up here. We're trying to feel right around where the neck, or where the skin comes down. You see the breastbone comes down there. We'll just go ahead and pull the skin open here. And we're trying to get in here so we can get the, what do they call that? I'm not sure. You're just trying to get that out of there. It should be fairly empty, because these chickens, roosters, should have been left overnight without anything to eat, just so that everything goes through like it should. So here I'm just trying to pull everything loose so I can separate that, because I don't want to puncture that. Yeah. So that's your esophagus and the windpipe, or the throat. I'm just going to separate that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this here, because I'm going to pull it through later. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the neck. I use that for broth, and I do pick the I'll pick the little bits of meat off of there and give to the dogs, but I don't give them the actual meat. I don't give them the bones. Probably could, but I'm just not going to. There we go. And then I'll take the skin off. Put that in our water. Go ahead and move around to the back side. And here, same thing, we're just grabbing right here at the base of the breastbone. We're just going to kind of cut a small slit in the skin only. Once we get it opened up, we'll be able to separate everything inside. Get our fingers in there, and we can pry this skin open. And at the same time, we can feel around, cut into the inside here, just through the membrane, to get to where the organs are. And then once we have a hole there, we can go ahead and pull it the rest of the way open. And we can also reach down inside here at the same time and try to separate everything from the cavities, the wall cavities. Once you've got it opened up enough, you can get your fingers in there. You can then start pushing everything away from the sides. Once you do, you can use your knife to cut along open it up a little bit more. And just do that on each side. Separate this other side here. Alright, now we're actually opened up good enough we can get our fingers in. We can reach in and separate everything around the top. You reach in from the other side and do the same thing for the throat and the lung area. Trying to separate everything down and around each side. And then you can reach in and start pulling things out. If you've got smaller hands, this works a little bit easier. Luckily, these birds are not too bad. There's our heart with some liver. So there's our heart with a little liver there. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll separate it later. Throw it down in here, get it cooling off. And here's all our guts. We got our rest of our liver here. Just got to make sure while you're doing the liver that you don't bring along any of this right here. We don't want that. So once all the guts are out, the back, and we just cut along each side. We're going to go on each side of the anus. And again, I said I'd go ahead and do the tail too, take it off. So at this point I just go around and clip off everything that gets the gland that's there in the back. That takes care of it as well. And if you're selling these for weight, you would want to keep that tail on there, but I'm not, so we'll just go ahead and remove that. So the one thing that's still left in here is the lungs. They're pretty hard to get out. What I normally do is leave them in there until, because I don't leave these birds whole. I end up stripping them out, or splitting them up into pieces, quartering them, and so I'll remove it then, because I'll split it right down the middle. So take off the rest of these little feathers here, and this is ready to go in our cooling tank. Now it sits in the cooling tank basically until I get the next one done, and then I put the bird into the one with the ice, and there we go. Put it in the one with the ice and let it cool down. Just as I get another one coming, I just go ahead and keep switching them as I go. So we are pretty much done with this one. Got a few feathers still left. And the process gets quicker, especially whenever you're not doing the cameras too. But there we go. That was done as I'm going to do for now, and I'll do the last little bits of stuff whenever I actually split these up. Alright, so that's a really long video on how to do this, but as you can see, it can be done fairly easily by yourself. It goes quicker with help, and it goes quicker with experience. This is probably about the 10th, 15th bird or whatever I've done, and it's probably been 2 months or so since I've done the last one, so it's been a while. So it definitely takes a little bit to come back to you, but it can be done. Just take some time. So it saves you some money though. You don't have to actually go and buy your own, and at the same time, you know, you don't have to have anything other than a big pot to put them in, a couple of totes or coolers, and of course a cage to be able to transport them over here in, and then a kill cone. The kill cone I made myself, and I need to make another one. That way I got 2 of them, but I'll do that in the future, and maybe I'll make a video about it. So that's all I got for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get to these other ones, and if you got any questions, leave it in the comments, and hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe, bell notification, all that good stuff. And until next time, y'all take care.